After weathering countless storms, when Diep once left James to secure the money needed to save her mother, and he relentlessly went after her, they managed to overcome every obstacle together. One winter day, just as their love had been strengthened by long days working on the farm together, Diep's family secret was suddenly exposed. In episode 35, the question looms: will James have the courage to shield Diep from the pain of her past when the truth threatens their happiness? In the soft hazy light of early morning, the vast fields of Tanmin village remain shrouded in thick mist, with dewdrops clinging to every blade of grass along the rice paddies, sparkling like tiny jewels. Tuan and his co-workers had been out in the fields since before dawn. The roar of a tractor fills the cold December air, echoing over the dry red soil still lightly covered by a thin layer of mist. Their breaths turn to white vapor in the biting cold, blending with the distant whistle of the wind through far-off eucalyptus trees. Tuan, wearing a faded dark blue work jacket with worn patches on the shoulders from long, grueling days of labor, stands beside an old tractor. His hands, stained with grease, carefully inspect the engine. His calloused fingers tremble slightly from both the cold and the tension as his focused eyes flash with worry. Suddenly the machine begins to shake abnormally, black smoke spurting from the exhaust like a warning sign, while the pungent smell of burning oil permeates the air. A tall, slender co-worker named Hoa, dressed in a faded grey sweater, shouts over the clamor. "The tractor's busted, Tuan. Call a repairman or we're going to fall behind schedule." Tuan nods, his gaze drifting over the misty field, and replies in a deep voice carried by the chilly wind. "All right, I'll call someone right away." He pulls an old cell phone from his jacket pocket, its screen cracked in one corner but still glowing, as he dials a local repair service. A flicker of tension crosses his face as he thinks about James's first agricultural project, the one he's been entrusted to manage, and the heavy pressure of not disappointing his boss. Moments later, a middle-aged repairman in a worn brown jacket arrives, lugging a heavy toolbox. Stepping confidently on the damp ground, the repairman sets his toolbox down and begins disassembling parts of the tractor. The clanging of metal mingles with Tuan's quiet sighs as he silently hopes for a speedy fix, not only to meet the project deadline, but also because his heart is burdened with thoughts of his mother, Mrs. Mu Lan, who lies in the hospital with a pale, vacant expression, and the secret he has long hidden about Diep, a weight he isn't sure how to bear. A few miles away, along the red dirt road leading into Tanmin village, James drives his sleek black Ford Raptor with a heart full of anticipation. He's eager to check on Tuan's crew working in the F-25 rice field, the very first agricultural project he's been tasked with, a crucial step in supporting local farmers he cares deeply about. The early sunlight makes the Raptor's polished paint glisten, while weak rays pierce the thick mist. Red dust swirls behind the wheels as they traverse deep potholes. Yet James's thoughts remain on Diep, his love, and the warm, simple days they've spent working side by side, from clumsily weeding under a gentle sun to harvesting guavas at the local market. Wearing his dusty grey work jacket from long days on the farm, his calloused fingers grip the steering wheel as he wonders, what's Diep up to right now? I need to get here early, check on the project and see her. I wonder how Tuan's handling the tractor issues. When his vehicle finally comes to a stop in front of the weathered wooden gate of the farm, James steps out. His old leather shoes make soft sounds on the hard, dry ground, and his breath turns to white mist in the cold air. His gentle eyes scan the group of workers gathered around the broken tractor, men in thick jackets bent over their tasks amid the lingering mist. Approaching them, his deep, steady voice calls out, "What's going on here?" Tuan looks up, a trace of uncertainty in his eyes at the sight of James, and quickly responds, "Yes, boss, the tractor broke down. Water seeped into the engine. We're fixing it right now." James nods, his sharp eyes inspecting both the machine and the crew. In a calm yet authoritative tone, he says, "All right, call Tuan over here. I need a report on the situation immediately." Later, standing under the shade of an old bang tree beside the field, with its brittle branches swaying in the December wind and dry leaves rustling on the red soil, James crosses his arms. His dusty work jacket flutters in the breeze as he asks in a deep voice, "What's the status, Tuan?" Tuan answers with a steady but tense voice, his eyes briefly glancing at the malfunctioning tractor a few meters away. "We're testing the new F-25 rice variety, but the tractor's breakdown has slowed us down. We're short-handed because of the holiday, but I'll call in extra help tomorrow. Don't worry, boss. I'll have it fixed soon." James nods, his gaze softening slightly as he looks at Tuan, then adds in a warm tone, "Good. Tell the crew to keep up the hard work. By the way, how's your mum?" Tuan lowers his head, his hands clenching in his jacket pockets, and his voice drops as if choked. My mum's doing a bit better after surgery, but... He hesitates, his eyes clouded with emotion, lips pressed tightly, then sighs shakily. Boss, I have to be honest. Diep isn't my biological sister. My little sister died when we were young, and my mum took Diep in, hoping to find her lost daughter for comfort. James freezes, surprise flickering in his eyes as his hands drop to his sides. Quickly regaining his composure, he speaks in a firm yet gentle tone. I'd suspected as much, but why wasn't this said sooner? This is a major matter, regarding her. Tuan bows his head even lower, his eyes clouded with emotion. I was afraid my mom would be devastated, and I didn't want Diep to suffer any more pain. She's already endured so much. Placing a reassuring hand on Tuan's shoulder with a firm, warm grip, James replies, Don't let her know just yet. I'll be by her side when she finds out she needs me now. They continue to walk as they inspect a nearby tomato garden, where lush green vines stretch out under the soft morning light. In that moment, James's mind fills with worry. Dee will be shocked by the truth, and he must protect her from further heartache. Meanwhile, at a small shed near the farm, Diep is busy tending to her plants and caring for her chickens. Her slender, dirt-stained hands gently gather bundles of freshly cut greens, and her soft eyes watch over the little chicks scurrying around the wooden coop she built with James just yesterday. She then picks up a small watering can to tend to the new ducks in the adjacent pen. The gentle murmur of flowing water blends with the clucking of the birds, and her heart feels warm as she thinks, with James here, everything feels so much brighter. She silently vows, I have to work hard so that he'll be proud of me. That afternoon, at the local hospital in Thanh Minh, Tuan sits beside his mother, Mrs. Lan, in a cramped, stuffy room. The flickering neon lights cast a pale glow on her fragile face, and the deep wrinkles on her forehead tell the story of a hard, exhausting life. Tuan holds his mother's thin hand tightly, his fingers trembling as they catch the faint warmth from her, his heart heavy with the secret he's about to reveal, a burden that weighs on him like an unyielding stone. The steady beeping of medical machines and the faint scent of disinfectant only add to his tension. Soon, Diep enters, her worn rubber sandals clicking softly on the cold tiled floor. Her eyes brighten with joy upon seeing her mother, and in a clear, melodic voice she exclaims, Mum, I'm here. Mrs. Land manages a weak smile, her cracked lips parting slightly as she asks in a soft, fragile tone, Sweetheart, are you well? Diep nods and sits beside her, her gaze tender as she reassures. I'm fine, Mum. You have to get better. I just got back from the farm with James. After a brief, warm conversation, Tuan stands up and hesitates before saying in a low, trembling voice, Diep, come with me to that nearby cafe. I have something I need to tell you privately. Later, as dusk settles and the chilly evening air surrounds them, Tuan leads Diep to a small cafe. The soft yellow glow of old hanging lamps illuminates a worn wooden table with faded edges, the aroma of freshly roasted coffee mingling with gentle background music from a small speaker in the corner. Sitting face to face, Tuan sighs deeply, his breath turning to white vapor in the cool air, and with a voice heavy with sorrow, he confesses, Diep, I have to tell you the truth. You are not my biological sister. My little sister died when we were young, and my mum took you in because she longed to have a daughter. She hoped you would fill that void. Diep's eyes widen in shock as tears begin to stream down her cheeks, sparkling under the soft glow of the lamps. In a choked, trembling voice she asks, Why did you hide this from me? I've been an orphan all my life, and now to lose my mother too? Do you have any idea what it meant to me, to dream of having a family? Overcome with pain, she bursts into sobs, her anguished cries echoing in the quiet cafe. Unable to bear the weight of the truth, she stands abruptly and flees outside into the cold night, her legs trembling as she staggers away, her heart shattered into countless pieces. A whirlwind of questions overwhelms her mind. Who am I? Do I really have no one left? Nearby, James, driving his Ford Raptor, spots Di quietly crying by the roadside. He immediately stops the vehicle, leaving a trail of red dirt on the road, and rushes over with concern. Di, he calls. Gently, he helps her into the car, his warm hand grasping hers as he studies her tear-streaked face with worry. What's wrong? What happened? Between heartbroken sobs, she manages to cry, Tuan said I'm not his real sister. I have no family. After comforting her for a moment, James strides into the cafe and confronts Tuan with a stern look. What did you do, Tuan? Tuan lowers his head, his voice thick with regret. Boss, I just told Diep the truth. She isn't my biological sister. My mum took her in after my little sister died when we were young. I hid it because I was afraid of upsetting her, but I couldn't keep it hidden forever. James nods, his eyes reflecting sorrow and determination as he responds, I understand, but she needs time to come to terms with this. She's in deep pain. Turning back to the car, he sits beside Diep and wraps his arms around her, his gentle tone assuring, Diep, I'm here for you. You're not alone. I'll always be by your side. Later that evening, as James drives Diep back to the small wooden house on the farm, the fading daylight casts long shadows over the vegetable patches. Holding her hand tightly, he whispers, no matter what happens, you're my family. Diep silently resolves, he'll protect me. I haven't lost everything yet. That night, as they sit together inside the humble house, the soft glow of an old oil lamp illuminates the worn wooden table, its cracks echoing the hardships Diep once endured. James gazes at her tenderly and says, don't cry anymore. I'll always be here for you no matter what. With a shaky voice, Diep replies, thank you, James. I'm so afraid of losing everything, of having no one left. He embraces her firmly, his steady hands pulling her close, and promises in a gentle yet resolute tone, I promise to protect you, Diep. You haven't lost everything. You still have me and this farm. We'll get through this together. Diep leans into his embrace, tears soaking into his shirt, and softly asks, are you really with me? I'm just an orphan. James tightens his hold and with unwavering determination in his eyes replies, I mean it, Diep. To me, you are the most important person. Nothing will ever change that. A small, bittersweet smile breaks through Diep's tears as she silently vows, with you by my side, I'll overcome this. I'm not alone anymore. When Diep's family secret is finally revealed, will James be able to hold on to their love amid the new challenges ahead? Stay tuned for episode 36, where the CEO James is deceived by a rival and Diep faces a heart-wrenching decision that will put their love to the ultimate test. Tune in to find out.
Nhưng khi tình yêu thương tưởng chừng đã chạm đến trái tim cô, một bóng đen từ quá khứ lại hiện về, kéo theo những nghi ngờ và nỗi sợ hãi. Liệu trái tim Diệp có đủ dũng cảm để đón nhận hạnh phúc, hay cô mãi bị giam cầm trong chính những vết thương lòng không lành? Câu trả lời nằm trong những giờ khắc cảm xúc của tập 13 này. Chúc các bạn nghe truyện vui vẻ. Diệp đứng giữa cánh rừng thưa, nơi những chiếc lá rong xanh mướt rủ xuống như những tấm rèm tự nhiên. Ánh nắng đầu ngày xuyên qua tán cây, chiếu lên khuôn mặt cô những vệt sáng mờ nhạt, làm nổi bật đôi mắt trầm buồn. Hôm nay cô quyết định đi hái lá rong để bán. Một công việc đơn giản nhưng đủ để cô cảm thấy mình còn giá trị trong cuộc sống đầy bất ổn này. Trong lòng cô, một ý nghĩ lặp đi lặp lại như tiếng gió rít qua rừng. Cô cần tiền không chỉ để sửa sang trang trại mà giam đã cho cô ở nhờ, mà còn để chứng minh rằng cô có thể tự đứng vững, không còn phụ thuộc vào sự thương hại của bất kỳ ai, kể cả anh. Cô bước đi, tay cầm chiếc cùi tre đã sờn cũ, đôi chân chai sạn đẫm lên những chiếc lá khô kêu xào xạc. Mỗi bước chân là một lần cô tự nhủ rằng mình phải mạnh mẽ, phải quên đi những ngày tháng bị hành hạ trong căn nhà cố bao. Người chồng cũ từng biến cô thành nô lệ hơn là một người vợ. Nhưng khi cô cúi xuống nhặt từng chiếc lá rong, hình ảnh Giam bất ngờ chợt hiện lên trong tâm trí. Anh đã xuất hiện như một tia sáng giữa bóng tối. Cô kéo cô ra khỏi địa ngục ấy bằng lòng tốt và sự kiên nhẫn. Vậy mà trái tim cô lại run rẩy, không phải vì hạnh phúc mà vì nỗi sợ hãi rằng tất cả chỉ là sự thương hại trá hình. Diệp dừng lại, tay nắm chiếc lá rong đến